Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday the 31st of May comes to you from London. And we start as always by looking at currencies, then we'll look at stock markets, commodities, and last of all some US tech stocks, which are still continuing to power ahead. We look at the dollar index first. Dollar pulled back yesterday, but we are still bullish above the cloud. We've got this new upside target on the short-term chart of 99.28. That's nearly 2% upside, but we'd need to move above the high that we saw yesterday in order to activate that target. We are still bearish in the medium term, of course. The long-term chart finding support with quite big bullish upside targets. So short term we are just seeing a recovery, and that means in the euro we're seeing some short-term weakness. We've got a downside target here of 111, which is 1.2%, but the medium term chart is bullish, the long-term chart is bearish, still with these targets hanging over us. Japanese yen we're seeing the dollar is bearish here, so a bit of yen strength creeping back in, and a downside target here of 2%. So we are seeing, this is the classic risk-on trade, we are just seeing some yen strength here, and we are bearish below the cloud on the weekly, the daily, and the 60-minute chart on the yen. So dollar is weak against the yen there. We're seeing sterling also just testing these new lows at 128 level. Interestingly, we are back below the cloud. Downside targets not that clear on the short-term chart, but on the medium and long-term chart they're there. So as we head into the election, we may just see some more uncertainty there around sterling. Euro, we're seeing again sterling falling against the euro, and we do have quite significant downside targets here of around 3%. So we're bearish on all three charts against the euro still. And the Swiss franc, much the same picture. We need a new low to activate this downside target of 3.8% to 120. Looking at the Australian dollar, we're seeing here that same weakness kicking in as well. The S&P 500 index didn't do much yesterday, just held on to its gains of last week, but it's still looking very bullish on all three time frames, as is the Nasdaq. And the Dow Jones as well, so we're seeing that strength kicking in, and the Russell 2000 not looking as strong and still just struggling on the short-term chart below the cloud. The S&P future is up very slightly this morning, and the Nasdaq E-mini much the same, so no real heads up there. We do have some quite significant targets here, of course, but we are just stuck in this rut waiting for the next big move. FTSE didn't have such a great day yesterday, but is still looking very bullish on the chart, and the FTSE 250 much the same picture. The DAX is still just struggling short term, and the Nikkei is also just struggling short term with that stronger yen. Hang Seng Index is looking bullish on all three time frames, and the Shanghai Composite is recovering on the short term chart, though the medium and long term charts still have work to do. The Sensex is looking bullish on all three time frames, and the Australian market is still struggling in the short term, so we're just seeing that there, and just starting to show a little bit of weakness there on the medium term chart as well. The Brent crude chart, so we're looking at commodities now, the Brent crude chart is falling away. The key thing is, will we take out this low of a few days ago, 51? If we do, we then got a downside target to 49. That's about 4.7% downside. Key thing is, will we move below this low that was given in May and activate a new downside target? So that's the really big thing to watch. And WTI, the picture is very similar. We're much closer to activating this downside target now. US nat gas not looking as good at $3.14. It's fallen away quite significantly. And if we look at some of the softs, we're seeing here that it's quite a mixed picture. Cocoa was up actually quite strongly, up 6%. So we are seeing a bit of a strong performance there, but the medium and long-term charts still not that great. Moving straight to gold, we see that gold's just holding on. It's really just struggling to hold that short-term position. We have activated this upside target of 12.93. That's the one to watch at the moment. Silver also just holding its short-term target trend just above the cloud. If we look at treasury yields, 10-year treasury yields at 2.23%, bearish on the medium and short-term charts, so we are just seeing a change in sentiment there. And Apple still looking pretty bullish, just struggled yesterday to motor ahead. Google looking very, very strong. Amazon nudging the $1,000 mark for the first time yesterday. That was in the news. Facebook also just holding its bullish position on all three charts, as is Microsoft. So we're seeing quite strong performances there. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.